Okay, so what have we got in the mix here?
So this, even though it's going to go into a SAM3 mix,
Yep.
was drilled as a GS4, so 15 species, yeah.
Okay, and how long has this one been in?
Autumn 22, it was drilled after spring barley, yeah.
So was this one of your first lays in, or you've been doing it a couple of years then?
It's probably like the 4th or 5th field.
Okay.
But yeah.
And how's the mix you put in here? Is it the same as you started with, or have you changed the mixes over time?
Probably it's more specialised to the farm, or how we feel it to be specialised to the farm rather than off the shelf. So there's probably from a conventional GS4 off the shelf, it's got probably more legumes, more cocksfoot, more timothy, and less perennial ryegrass in it.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's looking pretty good at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I know we did some work with you a couple of years ago where we took one of your fields and you drilled 3 different GS4 mixes.
Yes, with 2 different drilling dates.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it was interesting. Basically, the 2 mixes with the highest legumes performed the best, especially in the drier periods. While there was moisture, they were all pretty similar. Yeah, no, it was interesting. Probably the biggest thing was just the variability in what the plants you get as to whether they were drilled in.
Yeah, because I remember coming out and seeing it and walking across the field, and there was quite a significant difference between a couple of the mixes, wasn't there? There was one that didn't take quite as well, I remember.
Some of that soil type and field position and that sort of thing. But yeah, the most interesting bit for me is seeing the spring versus autumn of exactly the same seed mix, and they looked completely different.
Yeah.
But yeah, where you could see, because we had the highest legume one next to the lowest legume one, and the difference was pretty marked.
Quite marked, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So that's interesting, doing that, getting a field and having that side-by-side comparison. I know we tend to only do that when we're doing trials, but from your point of view, was that, I guess that was quite interesting, having that side-by-side comparison and be able to see the 2 mixes.
Yeah, and just by coincidence, we've set that field out into alleyways, and to make the seed mix trial work, the alleyways actually run across some of those mixes, so which is quite good because you get to see sort of animal preferences to grazing and all that sort of thing. And it could have been like that the alleyway closest to the first gate got overgrazed because it's the easiest one, but it didn't work like that because it went across 4.
Yeah, it's interesting because we did some previous work for AHDB Beef and Lamb, looking at integrating beef into arable systems on lays, and as part of that, working down with Peter Lord in Somerset, we had a couple of fields where we managed to persuade him to drill half with a sort of a good conventional grass-clover mix and half with a multi-species mix with some red clover in it as well. And that to a line comparison was quite interesting. The red clover in particular and the multi-species sward did well, and I know Peter said to me that was one of the most valuable things for him being part of the trial, was actually making him do that side-by-side comparison. Did you think that that's ever something that you consider again if we weren't doing trial work? Would you look at comparing mixes on your own in the future?
Yeah, I think it's I think we've narrowed it down a lot now, and I think seeing the variability in what you actually get from when and the moisture that when you drill it and the moisture that is available to the little seedling as to whether the tiny seeds germinate and dry out or not, or aren't quick enough to get a root down. I think we probably just need to stick with the mix that we've got for a little while to and then tweak it over time now probably.
Yeah. So in terms
we would do trials. Yeah. But yeah.
Good. And in terms of establishment, you mentioned autumn v spring. I don't know well, first of all, what did you take from that? And then also, I was wondering how you actually established this, what your cultivations were and whether you drilled or broadcast.
Yeah, so this one was drilled, so it was Tyrannoed, which is like a foot, a leg in the ground, and then a set of discs behind. So it was Tyrannoed, then Cambridge rolled, then drilled with a Verdestart rapid, and then rolled again.
Yeah. Okay. And did you make any conclusions about the autumn v spring
The
drilling?
autumn for us is probably better.
Okay.
It's probably safer. It's more dependable from a growth perspective, but stuff like lucerne, this particular lay had a reasonable amount of lucerne in it, but it was autumn established and then grazed with sheep, and we probably didn't give it. It probably needs to be grazed with cattle the following spring to give some of those easier to graze out legumes a chance to properly establish.
Yeah.
I think it woke up in the spring after having a fairly short autumn and then got killed because it got eaten.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.